This is episode 14 in our Real World series, the CNFG Qualitative Case Study. The first weeks of December have been historic in terms of geopolitical and geoeconomic impact. China's and The Economist's COVID reopening models forecast up to 800 million cases and 1 million plus deaths, combined with unprecedented economic policy reversals. Now, suddenly, the private sector is front and center to restore and expand domestic consumption, support tech platforms like Alibaba and Tencent, and property developers and buyers, and attract domestic and foreign investors. Our focus sectors, again, are tech, chips, and financial services.
These are the Morgan Stanley upside and downside risks for Apple, Tesla, and Microsoft. The tsunami-like policy reversals in China are referenced in the bullet points. Only numbers are modeled. Preventing Jamie Dimon from relying on them. Because they don't capture major catalysts such as culture, character, and technological advances. And complex qualitative factors are impossible to model, like supply chain issues and war.
But Chris, you can model and visualize these mega drivers. The same three as last Thursday. Great power shifts, the Saudis, Pakistan, and India, the COVID reopening strategy and consequences, and the chip war with multiple China retaliation scenarios. This episode features ThinkSheet's unique wargaming capability. Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger were geopolitical geniuses, documented in detail in the Watergate tapes in their deliberations leading to Nixon's historic trip to China.
I like to use Henry Kissinger as ThinkSheet's proxy for qualitative intelligence. No one will argue that AI can't outperform him in geopolitics. AI doesn't write books or meet in private with world leaders.
This episode lays the foundation for your use of ThinkSheet to model their wargaming productivity, so you can identify mega risk and opportunities before your competitors, like character-based great power shifts.
And how important is character for autocrats? Look at Xi Jinping and MBS. These two people have ushered in a new era in Chinese-Arab relations, with China potentially ejecting the U.S. from the Middle East with $50 billion in Chinese-Saudi investments, including long-term commitments by the Saudis to provide oil to China, use Huawei for 5G, de-dollarize oil payments, and agreements in information technology, transportation, and medical industries. A 27-year deal with Qatar for LNG when Europe is desperate for natural gas.
China's geographical allies, the Saudis, Pakistan, and Iran, all beneficiaries of the Belt and Road Project, making India a must-have U.S. ally to prevent China from dominance of the countries along the Indian Ocean. However, China must deal with the chaos in Chinese factories and supply chains from the COVID outbreak, and China's closed-loop management process in which workers sleep, live, and work in isolation to prevent virus transmission.
Chris Miller, our chip war thought leader, maintains that the chip industry is not ready for geopolitical shocks of the chip war. China will retaliate. The question is how. It could flood the market with low-end chips, killing Intel's margins, restrict Tesla and Apple production in China, restrict battery supplies to U.S. companies and military, subsidize national champions like NIO, Xpeng, Xiaomi, and Huawei, and unintended consequences of losing Chinese engineering talent, forcing the ones with green cards back to China.
I have never experienced such fast-moving, radical changes, war excluded, in my professional career going back to 1975. I think we need the rest of the week to update your model.
Agree.